The arena smelled of blood and dust. Alien voices echoed from high walls. Lights burned bright above, shining down on the center wide. Sandy pit filled with bones and broken armor. In the middle of that arena stood a boy. Barefoot, dirty, maybe. He's 15 years old. His face was calm, even though fear filled his eyes. His name was Eli. A giant metal gate slammed behind him. Another human? That's no fun. One alien guard grunted from the stands. Ah! His skin was green and rough like bark. They die too quickly, said another. Last one lasted 15 seconds. But this time, something was different. Across the arena, another gate opened. Heavy chains dragged along the ground. A roar shook the walls. Something was coming. The crowd went quiet. Then it appeared a beast, twice the size of a bull. Black fur, glowing red eyes, claws like swords. The apex predator, they called it Zorak. It had never been tamed, never been beaten. Fight for rewards. It fought because it liked to kill. Eli stood still. He didn't run. He didn't scream. The beast sniffed the air, then stepped forward. Alien spectators leaned forward, ready for blood. Zorak approached the boy slowly. Its growl rumbled like thunder. Still, Eli didn't move. And then, the predator stopped. The boy stared into its eyes. Not with anger, not with fear, but with something else, something calm, something pure. Zorak tilted its head. The audience began to shout, "Kill him! Eat him!" But Zorak didn't move. Instead, it walked around Eli in a circle. Its body brushed past him but gently, like a curious animal sniffing a stranger. Eli reached out slowly and touched its fur. Gasps echoed through the arena. Zorak didn't bite. It didn't roar. It sat down right next to the boy. Like a loyal dog, one alien dropped his drink, another fainted. What is this? The arena warden growled. Isn't it attacking? In a control room above the arena, scientists were already checking monitors. Maybe it's sick. No, its vitals are normal. Heart rate is steady. No signs of aggression. This has never happened before. Back in the arena, Eli slowly sat down too. His hand never left the predator's fur. He whispered softly, "You're not so bad." "Are you?" Zorak let out a low, rumbling purr. Hours passed. The crowd was gone. But Eli remained in the arena, with Zorak lying beside him like a massive shadow at night. Guards came to take the boy away. They opened the gate carefully. Eli stood. But when he took a step, Zorak growled. The guards froze, I think. "It doesn't want him to leave," one muttered. "We can't leave them both there all night. That's against protocol." "What protocol?" "This has never happened before." Finally, one guard tossed a stun grenade inside. The lights flashed. Zorak roared. Eli screamed. When the light faded, both boy and beast were unconscious. The next morning, Eli woke up in a small cell. Alone. Zorak was gone, but the guards didn't. Look at him the same, some were scared. Others stared like he was some kind of weapon. A red-eyed scientist stepped into the room. His name was Dr. Varnix, head of alien research. "You, very special," Varnix said. "Tell me, how did you tame the beast?" "I didn't," Eli replied. "Then how did it not kill you?" He shrugged. "I wasn't scared. Just looked into its eyes, and I saw something. Not a monster, just pain like mine." Varnix stared at him for a long time. "We'll run more tests." Later that day, Eli was thrown back into the arena, but this time, no beast came. Instead, 4 other prisoners were dropped-in criminals from across the galaxy, all bigger, all armed. "Let's see what the boy can do without his pet," said the arena announcer. Eli backed up. He didn't want to fight. He raised his hands. "I don't want to hurt anyone," he said. The others laughed. "You won't," one sneered. "Because you'll be dead," they charged. Then, the gate broke open. Zorak came crashing through like a storm. The prisoners screamed. One tried to stab. The Lee Zorak tore him in half. Another raised a blaster. Zorak crushed him in one bite. And Less than 10 seconds, the arena was quiet. Eli was untouched. Zorak stood beside him, tail swaying. The crowd didn't cheer. They didn't speak. They were terrified. The warden whispered, "We made a mistake." From that day, they never sent Eli alone into the arena again because Zorak would come. Whether they allowed it or not, no walls could hold him back. No weapons could stop him. He was no longer the apex predator. He was something worse, a friend. Word of what happened in the arena spread fast. Across the galaxy, footage of a human boy sitting calmly beside the most dangerous beast ever known was replayed over and over. Zorak, the unstoppable predator, the untamable killer. And now, somehow, a human pet? No one believed it at first. "Fake," shouted one alien general watching the footage. "It's been edited." "No creature acts like that," said another. But the truth was undeniable. The arena logs, the camera angles, the live audience, they all confirmed it. A human boy named Eli had walked into the pit. Instead of dying like the others, he had tamed death itself. Inside the research station above the arena, scientists buzzed with excitement and fear. Dr. Varnick stood at the center of it all, reviewing data on glowing holoscreens, vital signs unchanged. No chemical influence, no neural control chips. "It's real," he said, his voice steady but tight. "Zorak is obeying the human." "Obeying?" asked his assistant. "Are you saying the predator sees the boy as an alpha?" Varnick's turned. "No, worse. He sees him as something more. A friend. Maybe family." Aliens around the lab exchanged nervous glances. "That's not possible," one muttered. Zorak was born in chains, raised in fire pits. "It doesn't bond." "Yet it has," Varnick said. "And now, the galaxy is watching." Back in his cell, Eli sat cross-legged on the cold floor. He stared at the wall, not really thinking, just trying to breathe. Since the first arena fight, he hadn't been hurt, but he hadn't been free either. The only warmth he had was Zorak. They allowed the predator to visit once a day. When he came, he lay by the door, his huge eyes watching Eli quietly. Sometimes Eli spoke to him. Other times they just sat in silence. "I don't know why you follow me," Eli whispered one day, "but I'm glad you do." Zorak let out a low growls, soft, almost like a purr. Outside the cell, guards watched from behind thick energy shields. None of them dared step close when the beast was near, but not everyone was happy. In a smoky room deep inside the station, 4 alien commanders held a secret meeting. The arena's profits had dropped. Fewer people came to watch the fights now. "They call him the Beast Whisperer," growled one commander. "They think he's some kind of chosen one." "He's bad for business," said another. "Nobody wants to bet when the outcome's always the same. Human walks in, beast kills everyone else. Human walks out, so what do we do?" asked. The third, "We can't kill him. The predator would go mad." The fourth commander, tall, and with metallic skin and glowing yellow eyes, spoke at last. "Then we kill the predator, quietly, and blame it on the boy." The room went silent. "That's suicide," said the first.
"If you've seen what it can do."
"I've already hired specialists," the tall one said. "Poisoners, silent killers. They'll strike when the beast sleeps, and the human, he'll be alone again. It's an easy to dispose of." The others nodded slowly. But things weren't as secret as they believed. A short alien janitor, who cleaned their meeting room, had tiny ears but very sharp ones. Later that night, he slipped into the shadows and made his way to Eli's cell. Eli was awake, as always. Pissed, the janitor whispered, "Kid, listen close." Eli leaned toward the bars. "Who are you, friend? You and your pet? You're in danger, real danger." Where Eli's eyes narrowed, Zorak. "But they're gonna kill him, poison him, blame you. Make it look like betrayal." Eli's heart pounded. "Tell me this." The janitor shrugged. "I clean floors. I hate those rich commanders. But you pet a death machine and made it wag its tail. That's something worth saving." "Why?" Whispered, "Thank you, I'll be back tomorrow. I'll try to sneak you some help." Then the janitor vanished. The next day, something strange happened. Zorak didn't come. Eli waited, sitting by the door. Nothing. He pressed his ear to the cold metal floor. Silence. "Where is he?" Eli muttered. "He always comes." In the research lab, Dr. Varnix was pacing fast. "Where's the beast?" He snapped. "Missing from his chamber," said the assistant. "The guards say it was removed for cleaning, but the timing doesn't match. Check the cameras. The footage showed nothing, just static." Varnix slammed his clawed hand on. "The console? They're hiding something." Turned to his guards. "Find the human. Protect him." Meanwhile, deep in the back tunnels of the station, Zorak lay motionless. Chains were around his limbs. His breathing was slow. A tiny dart was still stuck in his neck, dripping black poison. Two assassins stood over him, holding high-voltage blades. "He's down," one said. "For now," the other replied, "but finish the job. The kid will. Take the blame." They raised their blades. A roar shattered the hallway. Zorak's eyes flared open, not red, but white. The chains snapped. One assassin screamed. The other never got the chance. By the time guards arrived, the tunnel was painted red and Zorak was gone. Eli sat in his cell, heart sinking. Something was wrong. He could feel it. Then came the pounding boom, boom, boom. The metal door shook. The guards ran and Zorak tore through the wall like a hurricane. Eli jumped back but then smiled. "You're okay?" Zorak limped slightly but stood tall. A deep growl rumbled from his chest. Eli stepped forward and hugged the beast. Zorak lowered his giant head too. Eli's shoulder, the wall behind them, still smoked from the impact. The cameras caught everything. Across the galaxy, the image spread. The boy hugging the monster, covered in dust and blood. Viewers wept. Others screamed. But one thing became clear. This was no accident. This was something new, far above, in a council chamber orbiting a nearby planet. A group of alien leaders sat, watching an insect-like admiral turn to the others. "We must act. The humans can bond with apex predators. They are more dangerous than we thought." A scaled diplomat nodded. "Then we must destroy the boy before others try to copy him." But not all agreed. A soft-spoken, elderly alien with glowing green eyes whispered, "Or maybe it's time we stop fearing them and start learning from them." The room stayed quiet. One human, one predator, a bond no species could understand. And now, the galaxy would have to choose: fear it or follow it. Eli sat on the ground, watching Zorak eat. Not like a pet, not like a monster, more like a friend. The meat had been delivered by frightened guards, who dropped it outside the cell door and ran. No one dared enter anymore, and no one forced Zorak back into a cage. The predator had destroyed every lock that tried to bind him now. He stayed near Eli by choice. "They're scared of us," Eli whispered, holding out a chunk of meat. "Even though I'm just a kid. And you're just tired, aren't you?" Zorak didn't answer, of course. But the way his ears shifted, the way he looked at Eli, felt like understanding. Not just instinct, not just animal behavior. Something else. Eli placed his hand on Zorak's head. The creature closed its eyes and rumbled softly. The cameras watched everything. Scientists were losing their minds. "They are communicating," Dr. Varnix said, eyes wide, claws tapping. "The console. But how?" "There are no implants, no neural tech, just eye contact, body language." His assistant shook his head. "It's not possible. This goes against every behavior model." "Exactly," Varnix whispered. "Which means we must make a new one." Another voice chimed in from the back of the lab. A tall alien with silver skin and robes of high rank. "No, it means we should end it before it becomes a threat." Varnix turned. "Hi, Scholar Trell. With all due respect, this is the most unique relationship we've ever seen." "It is dangerous," the scholar snapped. "If humans can bond with a creature like this, imagine what else they can do. Imagine them riding beasts like Zorak into war." Varnix narrowed his eyes. "Or imagine a world where we don't have to fight at all." Scholar walked out. Without a word, but the message was clear. Time was running out that night. Eli had a dream. He was back home on Earth. There were trees, wind, the sound of birds, things he hadn't felt in months. But standing beside him was Zorak, except the beast was speaking, not with words, but with thoughts. You are not prey. You are strong, different, like me. Eli woke up in a sweat. Zorak was curled beside him, still asleep. Was it just a dream or something more? The next arena match was announced the next morning, not for Zorak, for Eli. Why me? He asked. The guard shrugged. Orders just you this time. No beast. The gate opened. The sandpit waited. Eli stepped out slowly, heart pounding. The crowd had returned, cheering, laughing across the pit. The doors opened again, for prisoners. Stepped out some human, some alien. All looked rough, angry. One of them shouted, "They say you control the monster. Let's see how strong you are without it." Eli backed up. I don't want to fight. Another prisoner charged. Eli dodged. Barely he tripped, rolled in the sand. A fist came down, missed by inches. The crowd screamed, "Zorak's cage!" Shook. He was watching through thick glass. The beast paced like a caged lion. Then Eli got punched hard. Blood. Splash the sand, Zorak roared. The crowd froze. Eli hit the ground, dazed. The biggest prisoner raised a metal club, and then boom, the cage exploded. Zorak launched into the arena like a missile. Guards screamed. Lasers fired. Too late. The first prisoner vanished under Zorak's claws. The second tried to run. Zorak pinned him down, teeth bared but didn't kill. Instead, he turned to Eli, sniffed him, and gently nudged him to stand. Eli wiped the blood from his mouth and stood beside the beast. The third and fourth prisoners dropped their weapons and ran. The crowd didn't cheer this time. They were silent, watching, learning. Back in his cell, Eli was quiet. He sat with his knees pulled up to his chest. Zorak lay beside him, one eye open. Eli looked. At the cameras, you're all watching, right? He stood. Walked to the bars. I'm not your pet, and he's not your toy. We didn't ask for this. You threw me in here like garbage. You called me prey. He pointed at Zorak. You called him a monster. Eli's voice grew stronger. But I saw something real in him. He's not a monster. He's just like me. Angry, alone, tired of being treated like nothing. Zorak growled softly, as if agreeing. Eli stared straight at the camera. If you're afraid of us now, good. You should be. In the station's control room, a group of guards rewatched the footage. He's changing, one said. No, another replied. He's awakening. Soon. Rumors spread through the lower decks of the station. They called him the Beast Brother. Prisoners stopped mocking him. Some even saluted when he passed. One alien whispered, "He's not a child. He's a force." Even the guards were careful now. They never made eye contact. Never spoke unless spoken to. Eli didn't ask for power, but it came anyway. Not because he wanted it, but because he had earned it in the arena lab. Dr. Varnix paced faster than ever. We need to find the link, he said. There must be something, a signal, a frequency, a brain pattern. His assistant showed a chart. Nothing we can trace. The bond is silent. Like old Earth stories of wolves and humans. Varnix stopped. Wolves, whispered. He turned to the window, where Eli and Zorak sat in silence again. No, Varnix said. Not wolves. He looked at the creature's eyes. Loyal, deadly, fierce, protective. He smiled. Dogs. The High Scholar Trell was not smiling. He watched from a separate station, deep in orbit. What they have must not spread, he muttered. Beside him stood a new figure cloaked in shadows, a bounty hunter from a far system, known for killing without sound. Bring me the boy, Trell said, alive. The bounty hunter nodded. And if the beast interferes, the hunter grinned. I've killed gods. But deep in the station's underbelly, Eli felt it again. That strange connection. Zorak stood and growled at the ceiling. Eli placed a hand on his fur. We're not safe anymore, he whispered. The predator's tail thumped. Not afraid. Ready? A red moon hung above the station that night, casting a bloody glow over the metal walls. Inside his locked cell, Eli sat quietly. He could feel it in his chest something was wrong. Zorak growled low beside him, teeth bared toward the door. His ears twitched like they heard whispers that Eli couldn't. "They're coming, aren't they?" Eli whispered. The beast didn't move, just growled deeper. The guards hadn't shown up for feeding today. No meat, no schedule, no announcements, only silence. Then, in the control room far above, High Scholar Trell gave the final order. No more watching, no more studying. Kill the beast, and make the human disappear. A squad of heavily armed soldiers prepared in silence. Black. Armored, poison-tipped blades, energy nets. They weren't arena guards. They were executioners, down in the cell block. The lights began to flicker, one by one, until the hallway went dark. Eli stood slowly. Zorak turned toward the door, and then it opened not with violence, but with a soft hiss. A short figure stepped inside, a janitor with large ears and a nervous smile. "You again," Eli said, surprised. "Yeah, me again," the little alien whispered. "No time to chat. You're about to be erased." Eli frowned. "They're going to kill us?" "No. Kill him, you. They'll just vanish you." He tossed Eli a small bag. Inside were a datapad, a key card, and something that looked like a pulse bomb. "What? Is this your escape?" Eli looked at Zorak. "Won't fit through normal doors." The janitor grinned. "I didn't say normal." At the same time, 6 executioners crept toward the cell. Their steps made no sound. They didn't speak. Their blades were charged. Their orders were clear. But as they neared the final door, something went wrong. The lights shut off completely. Then emergency red lights blinked on, one by one, and in the darkness, they heard a growl. One tried to turn. Too late. A blur of black fur and teeth tore through the hallway like a storm. Screams echoed. Blood sprayed across the walls. Eli stood beside the janitor, watching through a camera feed. Zorak didn't leave. Survivors. Eli didn't smile. He didn't cheer. He just said, "Let's go." The janitor led them through maintenance tunnels, narrow air vents, and broken shafts no one used anymore. Zorak barely squeezed through, crawling like a giant cat. "What's your name?" Jorb." "Why are you helping us, Jorb?" "'Cause I've been stepped on my whole life, just like you." And for the first time, someone bit back. They reached a sealed blast door. Joe RB swiped the keycard. The door hissed open. Beyond it was a launch hangar. Old ships. Empty boxes. No guards. Until the alarm sounded. Intruder detected. Red lights exploded across the ceiling. "I thought you said no one used this place," Eli shouted. "They don't," Jorb yelled. "Except today, I guess." The gate at the far end opened. Soldiers poured in. Zorak roared and charged. Blasters fired. The beast dodged. Slammed. Crushed. One soldier flew across the hangar and didn't get back up. Eli ran to the nearest ship-hand-old shuttle. "Can this fly?" he yelled. Joe RB shrugged. "Probably not. Try anyway." They dove inside. Zorak followed. Barely fitting through the door, the roof dented. Under his weight, Eli jumped into the pilot's seat. "I don't know how to fly," he shouted. Joe RB pushed buttons. "Good, neither do I," the engines hummed. The floor shook. Soldiers swarmed the outside. One tried to blast the window. Zora clawed it from the inside. "Let's go," Eli shouted. The ship launched into the air, shaky and smoking. Joe RB whooped. "We're alive," Eli replied. But above the station, a dark figure floated in a cloaked ship. The bounty hunter. He had watched the escape. He had followed the signs, and now, his ship disappeared into stealth mode and followed the shuttle silently inside. The shuttle, Zorak, lay curled beside Eli. He was bleeding deep cuts from the fight. Eli tore off part of his shirt and began to press against the wound. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "This wasn't supposed to happen." Zorak's breathing slowed, but his eyes never closed. I'll find somewhere safe, Eli said. I promise. Jorb pointed at a blinking screen. We have maybe 2 hours of fuel. Great, Eli muttered. The stars outside looked peaceful, but Eli knew peace never lasted. Back at the arena station, chaos ruled. Dr. Varnick stood in front of a broken window, watching the smoke rise. You fools, he muttered. You tried to kill something you didn't understand. High Scholar Trell appeared behind him. The human is gone. Is the predator with him? Good. Not good, Varnick snapped. They survived. That means the galaxy just got a new symbol. A boy and a beast who broke your cage and burned your order. Trell stepped closer. Find them, kill them, or we'll all regret it. Varnick said nothing. He already did. Somewhere in space, Ali finally found a small asteroid, station abandoned, dark. But still pressurized, they landed. It groaned under Zorak's weight, inside. It was cold and quiet. Eli made a bed out of old blankets for the beast. I'll fix you, he whispered. We'll rest here, then we'll find Earth. Or something better. Zorak's tail moved slightly. Joe RB lit a light stick. Home sweet home. For now, they were safe. But in the darkness outside, a cloaked ship hovered in silence, watching, waiting, and far away. On 10 different worlds, children watched the footage of the escape. They didn't see a boy and a monster. They saw hope. They saw strength. They saw something no one else believed. A new future. The arena station once stood as a symbol of control of power. Beasts fought, prisoners died. Galaxy watched, cheered, and bet on blood. But now the arena was afraid. Eli had escaped, Zorak had broken their walls, and rumors had spread. Like wildfire. Not just about the boy, but what he represented. Across other alien prisons, whispers turned into plans. In deep cells, once broken prisoners began to talk in low voices. If one human boy could walk out of the arena with the apex predator beside him, they said, why can't we? Back at the abandoned asteroid station, Eli patched Zorak's wound slowly. Almost done, he whispered. Wiping away dried blood, Zorak growled softly, leaning into his hand. Jor brought a small tray of warm food, recycled protein paste. Not Earth burgers, he joked, but it'll keep you alive, Eli. Smiled weakly. Thanks, Jorb. Don't thank me yet, the janitor said, checking a blinking cum screen. We've got trouble. Eli leaned over. What is it? Jorb tapped the screen. Someone just sent out a message using your name. They're calling for a prison. Revolt. From inside the arena. Eli's heart skipped. Someone's trying to finish what we started, he said. Inside the arena station, the prisoners were no longer silent. They marched in step. They shared food. Watched the guards with cold eyes, the leaders. Group of alien prisoners who believed in Eli's story. He didn't tame the beast, one growled. He earned its trust. That makes him more dangerous than all of us. They broke into old systems, found hidden doors, mapped the place, and they waited back on the asteroid. Eli stared at the screen. He looked at Zorak, then at Jorb. I can't leave them, he said. Joe RB blinked. What? I have to go back. Kid, you're crazy. They're fighting because of me. They think I started a rebellion. But I didn't. I just wanted to survive. Zorak stood, tail swaying as if agreeing. Eli touched his side. Let's show them we're more than survivors. 3 days later, the arena alarms blared again. But this time, it wasn't one boy sneaking in. It was all of them. Dozens of prisoners. Released from their cells by hacked systems. Guards trapped in lockdown. Zones. Defense turrets turned inward. And at the front of the storm, Eli and Zorak, they crashed through the side. Of the arena like thunder, spectators screamed. Some tried to flee, but the show was over. Now the arena was the battlefield, and the slaves were in charge. Dr. Varnick stood in the upper tower, watching the chaos. It's begun, he whispered. High Scholar Trell pushed past him. We must escape. Lock the floors. Kill the lights. Varnick shook his head. No, this is the galaxy's future. You locked monsters in cages for fun. Now they're showing you what monsters really look like. Raised his blaster. but Zorak smashed through the wall behind him like a missile. One swipe. Trell fell, forever, in the lower pit. Eli fought with nothing but his fist sand, sometimes a stolen baton. Zorak handled the rest. No guards could stop them. The gates to the control room melted under heat bombs. The prisoners didn't just want revenge. They wanted justice. They wanted freedom. And now, they had it. Eli reached the center of the arena floor, standing where he once faced death. He looked around. The seats were empty. Fires burned in the distance, blood-stained. The sand, he raised his voice. This place is finished. The prisoners cheered. Zorak let out a roar that shook the walls. Eli pointed to the sky. We take the ships. We go where they said we could never go. No more cages. No more arenas. This galaxy will remember what happened here. One prisoner stepped forward. What should we call ourselves? Eli blinked, then smiled. We're the ones they couldn't break. Footage of the uprising reached every major system, on a luxury world. Rich aliens watched it on a newsfeed and dropped their drinks. On a slave planet, workers wept at the sight of Eli standing beside the Predator, and in the darkest corners of the universe, warlords sat quietly studying the boy's face. Some feared him, some hated him, but many admired him. Later that night, with the station fully under prisoner control, Eli sat beside a fire in the ruins of the arena. Zorak rested near him, tail wrapped around them both. Joe RB sat on a broken crate sipping warm broth. We actually did it, the janitor said. We burned the arena. Eli looked up at the stars. No, he said softly. We lit the first match. It had been 2 weeks since the arena fell. 2 weeks since. Eli and Zorak led a revolt that shook the galaxy. The arena was gone, burned, broken, silent. But the message was alive. Every corner of space now knew the name Eli. Not as a prisoner, not as a child, but as the one who tamed death. News feeds called him the Beast Brother, the Cage Breaker, the human who whispers to monsters. On peaceful planets, kids wore shirts with his face. On war-torn moons, rebels spray-painted his name on walls. But not everyone celebrated. Some feared him. Some powerful people, like the Galactic Council, they'll make him a god, one ambassador warned. They'll follow him like a prophet, said another. No, said a cold voice in the dark, we'll make him a weapon. Eli didn't want any of it. He stood in the middle of a desert planet, now free, quiet, dusty, no crowds, no cameras. Just Zorak, Jorb, and a few former prisoners who had followed him. This place is nothing, Jorb said, stepping off the ship. You sure this is where we stop? Eli nodded. For now. Zorak sniffed the air, then sat near a rock. Eyes half closed. Eli watched the sunset. No arenas. No cages. No blood. He sighed. I just want to live. That night, as stars blinked above, a ship approached, quietly fast, unmarked, stealth dash mode, inside. It were 6 figures dressed in black mercenaries, not bounty hunters, not soldiers. Something worse. Paid by the council sent. To take Eli alive or dead, it didn't matter. They had one goal, break the bond. But Zorak was already awake. Before the ship landed, he was ears raised, nose twitching. Eli stirred in his sleep, then froze. He heard it too, boots on sand. Weapons. Clicking, he reached for the old energy baton by his side. Joe RB peeked from the tent. Oh no. Eli whispered, get to cover. Now. Zorak crouched low, growling. The mercs moved fast, trying to surround the camp, but they didn't understand what they were facing. They saw a boy and a beast. They didn't see the bond. The first merc raised his rifle. No warning. No sound. It's just pure force. The merc never saw it coming. The camp exploded in chaos. Laser fire lit the dark. Zorak was everywhere, slashing, roaring, leaping. Eli ducked and rolled, swinging his baton into a merc's chest. Jorb screamed and tossed. Sand in another's face. Within seconds, Half the team was down. The rest tried to retreat. Too late. Zorak cornered them like cattle. Eli stepped forward. "You came to break us," he said quietly. The last merc dropped his weapon. We're just following orders." Eli looked at Zerwak. The predator growled but didn't attack. Eli turned back. "Tell them this," he said. "We don't want war. But if you come again," he pointed to Zorak, "you'll learn what real fear is." The next day, the merc ship was found drifting in orbit, empty, but with a single message carved into the hull: he is not alone. In the Galactic Council chambers, panic grew. "This child controls death itself," someone shouted. "He's just a boy," another argued. "Then why can't we stop him?" Silence followed, because they all knew the answer. He couldn't be bought. He couldn't be threatened. And worst of all, he had already won. Meanwhile, on the desert world, Eli sat beside a small campfire. Zorak lay across from him, resting, scarred, but alive. Joe Arby made tea. Eli looked into the flames. "I never wanted this," he said softly. Zorak's eyes opened. He growled once short, low, steady. Eli nodded. "Yeah," he said. "But maybe it was never about what we wanted." He looked up at the stars. "It's about what we do with it." Later that night, transmissions arrived from rebel colonies, hidden fleets, and prisoner groups. They all said the same thing: "We are with you." Eli stared at the messages. Dozens, hundreds, thousands. He didn't feel proud. He felt heavy. Zorak leaned into his side. Eli whispered, "I didn't tame you, did I?" The beast blinked. "I just understood you." Zorak rumbled softly, and together, under alien stars, they sat. Boy and beast, symbol and shadow, peace and power, but far away. Something stirred, something darker. The council wasn't finished, and they had found something deep in space. A new arena, older, bigger, built not for games asterisk, but for war. The stars were quiet again. Too quiet. Eli sat on a rocky ridge, staring at the sky. The desert winds blew softly across his face. Zorak lay beside him, breathing deep, peaceful for once. But peace never lasted long. Joe Arby arrived with a data pad. In hand, face pale. "They did it," he whispered. Eli turned. "Who?" Jorb held up the screen. "The council. They've rebuilt it. A new arena. Not just for prisoners. It's a trap." Eli took the datapad and stared at the holomage, a massive structure floating above, a dying red star, dark, heavy, armed. A message blinked beneath it. "Return, or we destroy the colonies that follow you." Eli said nothing. Zorak slowly stood. Growling deep in his throat, Joe R.B. looked at them both. "You're not thinking of going, right?" Eli stood tall. "I'm not thinking. Have to." The journey to the new arena felt like stepping into a memory and a nightmare. It was bigger, colder, guarded by drones, warships. Traps dots. Eli stood in a small shuttle alone. Zorak, hidden beneath in the cargo bay, silent. This wasn't about escape anymore. This was a message. He let them scan him. Let them take him in. Let them believe he had come unarmed, because sometimes the best weapons weren't metal, they were moments. Inside, the new arena shimmered like a black diamond. Alien lights glowed. Cameras hovered. High above, the council watched from a private chamber. "Bring out the beast." One of them ordered, but it wasn't Zorak, they meant. It was something else. Another apex predator. One even Zorak had feared in the wild. They had captured it, starved it, turned it mad. They dropped it into the pit with Eli, and then waited for the boy to die. The creature roared, a mountain of muscle and rage. Eli stood still. No weapons, just calm Zorak. Watched from the shadows, caged behind walls, eyes burning with fury. The crowd cheered. The council leaned forward, but then Eli spoke soft. Words, simple ones, no commands, no fear, just understanding. The beast hesitated, sniffed, tilted. Its head, it took a step forward, not to kill, to listen. The entire arena went silent. Zorak let out a deep, guttural growl from pride. The council's leader slammed his hand on the table. Release the drones. They dropped in from the sky, armed, ruthless, ready to burn everything. But this time, they weren't facing a boy, they were facing a pack. Zorak burst from his cage. The new predator joined him, and Eli stood between them, pointing toward the tower above. What followed was not a fight, it was a reckoning. Drones were ripped apart. The arena walls cracked. The audience fled in panic, and Eli climbed the control tower. Step by step, calm as the sky, he found the council's leader trembling behind a glass wall. Eli stared through it. "You built cages," he said, voice soft. "You made monsters." The glass shattered Zorak's claw beside him. "But monsters don't follow humans," the councilman spat. Eli tilted his head. "They follow family." He turned away. Left him alive. That was the final message. Power doesn't mean destruction. It means restraint. They didn't just escape this time. They destroyed the system. The arena was left in ruins, orbiting a dying star, its walls broken, its silence full of freedom. Back on the desert world, months later, children played in the sand. Some had scars, some had tails, some had both, but they played. In peace, Eli sat beneath a tree that wasn't. There before a gift from a farming colony, grown in dry soil as a thank you. Zorak lay beside him, still feared across the stars, still a predator. But now. A protector? They called the place free home. No rulers, no cages, no arenas, just second chances. A voice crackled over the communicator nearby. "Eli, another group is arriving. More escapees. They say they've heard your story." ALS smiled. "Them, we've got space." He stood up. Stretched ZOR rack followed. Together, they walked toward the sun. Boy and beast, human and apex, enemies made allies, monsters made family, and in the corners of the galaxy, wherever the cruel raised their fists, they now looked over their shoulder, because somewhere out there, the pup and the predator were watching.